It's day one of a new Low Fuel Motorsport season on Assetto Corsa Competizione, and as expected, the levels of intensity and aggression are at an all-time high. But that's only part of the problem for me today. The bigger issue is lack of track knowledge. I have never driven Kyalami before in any sim, so I'm going to have to learn as I go here, and it will be a brutal lesson. We've got a stacked grid of 30 cars, with me slap bang in the middle of it, starting from P15. So I'm not setting any targets for this one, just survival will be a good result. Wish me luck. Here we go then, a leap into the unknown with a brand new circuit to start the new Low Fuel Motorsport season. I honestly can't believe I've never driven this track before, but until today our paths have never crossed. However, a lot of paths are going to cross here at turn 1. 30 cars into this ultra tight left-hander. Amazingly, it looks like everyone has got through safely. The elbows are out in front though, and look at Gunter Dubrow in the Porsche. He's nudged out to the curb on the inside and he was launched into the air there. He's done really well to save it. I mean, my instinctive reaction was to lift. I felt sure that Dubrow was crashing out there. As a result, it has cost me a position because I've allowed Ben Vandals in the other Porsche to get through. And actually, it's left me wide open. There's a McLaren now alongside me, but I'll be able to hold off Marco Crapparucci by virtue of having the inside line through this left-hander. And we saw the first big casualty of the race. Philippe Anton has crashed out. So that has given me back my 15th position. And there's another huge collision right in front. There are cars sliding off everywhere. In front of me, behind me, to the left, to the right, there is mayhem on this opening lap at Kyalami, and suddenly I find myself into the top 10. Incredible stuff. Oh, we'll go back and check out a replay to see what happened, surely, but let's get this first lap out of the way first. I've gained 5 positions in the space of 1 corner there. Well, these Monday races are always pretty lively, with people getting on track without having that much experience in the combo. Throw in the fact that it is the first day of a new season and we are seeing absolute carnage. 2 more cars out into the gravel to the left. I am now up into P8. Well, before this race started, I was actually worried about my own lack of track experience. However, just by playing it safe, I've managed to pick up 7 positions on this first lap. So what an encouraging start. Let's go back and check out the replay to see where some of these freebies came from. Before the carnage though, we saw Gunter Dubrow almost lose it riding over that raised curb. And then a couple of corners later, we lost the first of many drivers. Philippe Anton in that Mercedes getting spun around by Rob Lute in the Ferrari, riding on board with Lute now. And we saw a lot of this in the last round of the previous season at Watkins Glen, just sticking your nose up the inside and causing a collision. It looked like Lute had overshot his braking marker there, and straight after it got even worse. The number 25 McLaren of Kjell Reg getting spun out and sending cars off in all directions. Meanwhile, the number 6 Ferrari of Antonio Palomo was involved in a separate incident right in front of this big spin. Palomo went off, meanwhile other cars trying a different route to get back on track. This is Ben Vandals in the number 15 Porsche, trying to take the long way around, but just loses it on the grass at the last moment, crashes into the barrier. Now he does get back on track, and it causes another accident. So yeah, absolute carnage on lap 1, day 1, and it isn't over yet. Towards the end of the lap, watch the black Porsche of Tom Kavai. He's going to run right into the back of Clement Darcy in that Honda. The pair of them are going to spin out too. And there are still cars flying in and going off track. We're going to keep this replay rolling because this is what happened right behind me. Yet more drivers crashing out of the penultimate turn. What an absolutely chaotic opening lap to this first race of the new season on LFM. Right, back to the live action then. We've just started lap 3. I'm still in 8th position. However, it doesn't look like I've got the pace to keep up with the front runners. They're making a break for it. So instead, my focus is on what's going on behind. Now, the TV cam is showing the onboard view from the McLaren of Marco Crapparucci. He is the driver right behind me, just 0.4 of a second now. We're actually fairly identical on pace. We started alongside each other on the grid. My qualifying time was a 1:42.7, his a 1:42.9. However, it does seem like he may be a bit erratic into corners. Watch the TV cam now. He is coming in really hot into this left-hander, and he so nearly takes me out. That was a real lucky escape there. Yeah, that McLaren came in like a torpedo. It's a really difficult corner to brake for, actually, right over the crest of the hill, and Crapparucci just missed his braking point. It almost ended in disaster. So we're just starting lap 4 then, a 1:42.8 last time around, so I'm pretty much on qualifying pace now. So is Crapperouche by the looks of it, because he's still only 0.3 of a second behind. And I'm not going to lie, I am still feeling pretty rattled after that incident on the previous lap. I knew full well just how close I came to being taken out there, and it's knocked my confidence a little bit. I just get a bit of a slide on, exiting that left-hander as well. That is going to give Crapperouche an opportunity to challenge again here. And I know I should be trying to clear it from my mind, but I just can't forget that incident on the previous lap. I am not confident with that black McLaren close by in the rearview mirror. And that distraction is really affecting my rhythm. I'm all over the place on this lap. And look at Crapperouche now, it's just 0.1 of a second. He is right on my tail. Just the slightest mistake now, and he will be ready to pounce. I clip the curb on the inside. That might give Crapperouche the opportunity he needs. I'm going to defend into this corner, but you know what? I'm not going to take any chances being late on the brakes into this tricky left-hander. The last thing I want to do is cause a wipeout, so I have lost a position, but I'd rather do that than stay on track. Having said that, though, I may lose 2 positions, because look in the rearview mirror, we've got a new challenge. And that is Nicolas Cazenave in the Porsche trying to capitalise on my lack of confidence on this lap. Right, we're going to jump forward a couple of laps. This is now lap 7, and I'm still in P9, still managing to hold off Cazenave behind, and just about managing to keep in touch with the 2 drivers in front. Crapperouche in 8th, and Felakak in 7th. However, we'll switch the TV cam on to see what's happening behind me. Cazenave now just 0.3 of a second behind, and I'll be brutally honest, I am just not up to speed on this track. I'm struggling to find my apexes, I'm struggling with my braking points, and as a result I am a sitting duck for these drivers that have a bit of momentum behind them. Look at Cazenave, he's so much smoother through that left-hander. Yeah, I am really finding Kyalami a tough nut to crack here, a real challenge trying to learn this circuit. Realistically, I don't think I'm going to be in P9 for too much longer, but even if I do slip another position, I'll still be inside the top 10. That will still be a good result. Well, I'm wide through this corner again. I'm struggling to get the car turned. That is going to open up a gap on the inside, and sure enough, Nicolas Cazenave is not going to need a second invitation. I've switched the TV cam off because you can see on the radar just how close we are here. I'm trying everything I can to stay far enough alongside him to keep this inside line through the right-hander, but I ride the curve a bit too much. I almost lose the rear. Now I'm going to be under attack. Good to Dubrow around the outside. Oh, but what's happened to Dubrow? He has just flown off into the barrier there. What on earth happened? Well, it must have been some sort of technical failure for Dubrow there, because there was no contact between us. In fact, I was backing out of it, and then suddenly Dubrow takes off. Yeah, he must have had a problem with his hardware there. Right, back to the live action then. We're now on lap 8. There's just 11 minutes left on the clock, and I'm in a more comfortable P10 now. There's a gap of nearly 2 seconds back to Tom Kavai in 11th position. Now, I don't know if that 2 seconds is going to be enough, because Kavai started this race in P6. His qualifying time was a 1:41.9, so he's capable of lapping nearly 1 second quicker than I can. And if that's not worrying enough, I'm also having great difficulty trying to get around this back marker, Wolfgang Brücke. So if I can't find a way past him soon, I will start to get held up, and Kavai will close in even quicker. Meanwhile, we've got a front runner in trouble. That was Rob Lute. So for now, at least, I find myself back up into P9. And yeah, it was a big crash for Lute. He's currently running in P4, but he just clips the grass exiting that corner and goes nose first into the barrier. Oh, and he almost takes out the car behind him there as well. Right, lap 14 now, and unfortunately my prediction about Kavai being able to close me in has come true. Look in the rearview mirror, he is now just 0.8 of a second behind. I've switched the TV cam back on so we can watch the view from his onboard. Now, if this was the last lap of the race, I'd feel confident that I could just about hold on to this 9th position. However, sadly, I don't think it is going to be the last lap. I suspect we're going to get one more go around here at Kyalami. And as you've just seen from that previous corner, I am still struggling, still having difficulty finding my apexes, and I'm really struggling with grip now as well. I am sliding all over the place. And I knew this was going to be a tough lesson, jumping into a really competitive split while still trying to learn the circuit, but I think I've done pretty well. I've managed to keep it clean, I've managed to keep it safe, and even if I do get overtaken by Kavai here, I'll still be in the top 10. Yeah, another complete bodge of the final corner. That's going to give Kavai the opportunity he needs to pull alongside. We're going to start the very last lap of this race side by side. However, Kavai is going to have the higher ground. He's got the extra speed and he's got the inside line into T1. Oh, I'm not going to be able to take the racing line here because I know that portion's on my inside, so I'm just going to turn in a little bit later in the hope that I can get more speed exiting the corner. Now, I know Kavai's a lot quicker than me. I know I've not really got the pace to get around him, but with one lap to go, I'm going to try everything I possibly can to stick with him here and put him under some pressure. Maybe, just maybe, I can force him into a mistake. However, he's already opening a little bit of daylight. 0.3 of a second now. He is a bit loose through that right-hander, though. This might give me the opportunity to close back in. I am still in contention at the moment, but I run in a bit too hot into that corner in the rear. Almost steps out. I had to wrestle the car to save it, but that is my chance gone. Yeah, that was all Kavai needed to make a break for it and make that 9th position his own, but I'm certainly not too disappointed with that. To finish in the top 10 on my first ever go around this track is an absolutely cracking result. Here are the classifieds then, and judging by that fastest lap of 1:42.8, I was good value for that 10th position. In fact, if I can just find a few more 10ths, I probably could challenge for the top 5. But yeah, steep learning curve this was, and it was absolute carnage out there. Exactly what we've come to expect from day one of a new season. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it.